New York babies, we have got a live DTFH, which is coming up on August 15th at the Bell House, and this is going to be a blazer, babies. We have got a world-famous channeler. Paul Selig is going to be the guest for this live DTFH, and not only am I going to get a chance to interview Paul, a world-renowned channeler, I'm also going to interview the entities that he channels. This is all happening at the Bell House on the 15th of this month. You can get tickets by going to DuncanTrussell.com. I hope you'll come to this. It's going to be a very special night. And last week's guest, Robert Ryan, is going to be there alming for us, and Emil Amos is going to play some music up front. Come join the family. Hang out with us in Meet Space. Come to the Bell House on the 15th. I will see you there. You know what I love? Adderall. I'll admit it. I went through an actual Adderall phase where I went to a pill doctor because I thought maybe I would get an Adderall prescription and it would help me write a book. What ended up happening is I started taking Adderall and playing video games with a very intense focus for a few days until I began to feel as though whatever I had that was a soul was being covered up by a thick, mucousy, gelatinous, demonic membrane, making me incapable of experiencing any kind of emotion at all. And my sleep was getting fucked up, so I dumped the Adderall into the toilet and flushed it, knowing that if it was sitting around, I'd probably keep nibbling at it like a bowl of M&Ms. I'm telling you this only because there is a supplement that I really love, which kind of reminds me of Adderall. This is my own opinion. It is not the opinion of Onnit, but for a long time, and a lot longer than I was sponsored by Onnit, I've been slurping back Alpha Brain, which is this fantastic nootropic that gives you a little bit more than caffeine. And it seems to be a distant cousin of Adderall. Again, my own opinions, not the opinions of Onnit at all. But when I have a hangover or when I want a little bit of an extra oomph in my boomph, then I'll take some Alpha Brain. It's fantastic stuff to have around. Onnit also produces a lot of other great supplements, really nice protein powders, delicious tasting green supplements, and also the no doubt much in demand chimpanzee-shaped kettlebell. I've seen the kettlebells. I actually tried to pick up one that was in Rogan's studio and almost ripped my arm off. But I do like the Alpha Brain. If you want to swing a kettlebell in your backyard shaped like a chimpanzee, it's there for you too. In fact, you could slurp back some Alpha Brain and swing a chimpanzee kettlebell. All I'm telling you is Alpha Brain is fantastic. I've given it to many of my friends who report fantastic results. All the information of why it works is at onnit.com. But if you go to onnit.com/DTFH, you'll get 10% off. Not only Alpha Brain, but anything you order over there. Go check it out. It's at onnit.com/DTFH. Alpha Brain. You'll love it. Hello, my dear, sweet friends. 'Tis I, D. Trussell, and you are listening to the Duncan Trussell Family Hour podcast. And what a special episode we have for you today. If you're new to the DTFH, and by new I mean you've only been listening to it for the last few years, then you might not be aware that I first started podcasting before the Duncan Trussell Family Hour podcast with a podcast called The Lavender Hour. And I did this podcast with Natasha Leggero, who I was living with at the time. I didn't stay living with her, and when we parted ways, I started the DTFH. But if you want to go deep into the genetic history of this podcast, all you got to do is go to DuncanTrussell.com and go all the way back. I think there's still episodes posted there. If not, you can Google search The Lavender Hour, and I think people have uploaded episodes online. These were the early days of podcasting. In fact, if you find the first episode of The Lavender Hour, you will find the first time I ever attempted to podcast. Back in the day, people weren't really sure what this was going to be. People had just started doing it. I actually did a podcast. I think the first podcast I ever did was with Matt Dwyer and Matt Bronger. They had a podcast. And I remember thinking, whoa, this is really fun. And then Natasha and I started doing it, and it it was fun. I really liked doing it, but at the time it was kind of an arcane thing still. This was before the podcast revolution. And I got this phone call one day from Marshall Childs, who runs an amazing comedy club in Atlanta called The Laughing Skull. Really great room. If you live in Atlanta and somehow have not been to the Laughing Skull yet, you've got to go. It's an amazing place. And also they serve really great food upstairs and have an incredible selection of beer. But Marshall, I guess he'd been listening to the Lavender Hour, and he went full Nostradamus with me. It was an eerie moment. I'll never forget it. He said, "Duncan, podcasts are going to be in cars soon. There's going to be a podcast boom. And if you start taking this podcast seriously, then it could turn into like a real job for you." He said something along those lines. It was like being visited by an angel of God or something like that. It was a really incredible moment. And after that phone call, I talked to Natasha and was like, we should start taking this more seriously. And then we started putting out more episodes, and I started spending more time editing it. And anyway, that was the Lavender Hour. And then it turned into the Duncan Trussell Family Hour. And Natasha was just in town doing her honeymoon tour with her wonderful husband, Moshe Kasher. And so she had a little bit of time to come by and reunite. And we did this podcast together. And at the end of this podcast, we started talking about something that I've been thinking about a lot lately. And it's a weird thing, but it really is fun to think about. And it's the idea that there really could be a group or groups of people who, in a decentralized way, are actively attempting to influence society to make things better, more beautiful, more witchy, more novel, more amazing. And we talk about this at the very end. It inspired me to record an hour and 12-minute rant on the idea, which you can find over at the DTFH Patreon. If you want to sign up for, I think, $2 a month, you can listen to this rant. And I'm not going to put it on this episode because it's just too long. It's an hour and 15 minutes. That would be incredibly rude to Natasha. But if you want to hear me going on and on about this idea that we talk about at the end of this episode, an idea I talked about with the episode we did with Sam Tripoli, head on over to patreon.com/DTFH and sign up for $2 a month. You'll get access to that and a lot of other rambling opening monologues. And if you just want to listen to it, then subscribe and then unsubscribe. My feelings won't be hurt. Okay, we got a great podcast for you today. We're gonna jump right into it, but first, some quick business. Some people call it a mattress. I call it a hallucination pad. It's the place that you go to hallucinate for 8 hours, hopefully 8 hours. Hopefully you're getting 8 hours. Don't undersleep, friend. You're going to regret it. It's a place you go to hallucinate for 8 hours every single night. It's a place where your astral body blasts out of your meat body and communes with the angels. And many of you are laying on a lumpy, vile, stinky, oily, bedbug-encrusted doom pad. Is that what you want your launch pad into the astral realm to be? Your mattress shouldn't look like some kind of mucusy Kleenex that fell out of a giant's purse. Your mattress should be pristine, but most importantly, it should be engineered so that you could have the ultimate night's sleep of all time. And what you don't want to do when you're looking for a mattress is to go to some mattress store and get hoodwinked by a mattress man. They'll rip your mind to shreds as they guide you through their demonic maze of mattresses, explaining ridiculous mattress equations that you will not understand. Why waste your time? Go to Casper.com. Casper creates an obsessively engineered mattress at a shockingly fair price. It combines supportive memory foams to create an award-winning sleep surface with just the right sink and just the right bounce. When they say sink and bounce, they're talking about humping, friends, and I can confirm it's great for that. With over 20,000 reviews and an average of 4.8 stars, it's quickly becoming the internet's favorite mattress. Free shipping and returns to the United States and Canada. You can try Casper for 100 nights risk-free in your own home. If you don't love it, they'll pick it up and refund you everything. Designed and developed and assembled in the USA. Right now, if you go to Casper.com/family hour, you will get $50 off your order. Those are the things that I have to read for the ad. But I sleep on a Casper mattress. I have for years. I sleep on a Casper. It is my mattress. I hallucinate on a Casper. I make love on a Casper. I eat popcorn on a Casper. My dogs sleep on a Casper. My cats sleep on a Casper. I sleep on a Casper. This is my sleeping pad. It's a Casper mattress, and I love it. And listen, I've been hoodwinked by mattress men before. I had a very expensive mattress that I bought after my mom died because I went in a mattress store, stoned out of my mind on edible marijuana, and got sucked in because this mattress could vibrate. And the guy said you could get addicted to it. And that's all he had to say. I waited with bated fucking breath for this thing to come to my house. This embarrassing, desperate attempt for me to reconnect with the spirit of my mother. And within a year or a year and a half, the thing was just like sinking in. It was horrible. Casper, I've had them for a very long time. You guys probably know, who've been listening for a while, know that. I sleep on a Casper. It's a great mattress. So if you're looking for a new mattress, they are a fantastic choice for you. Go to Casper.com/family hour. Use offer code family hour and you will get $50 off a wonderful mattress. That's Casper.com/family hour. Use offer code family hour. It comes in this awesome box. You pop it open, the thing explodes out of the box, and you have a new mattress. It's beautiful. And by the way, you have nothing to lose. They will take your mattress after 3 months. Think about that. Approximately 3 months. They'll scoop that stinky thing up after you've been laying there trembling in your weird fever states. They'll come and get it. So there's no risk. Give them a shot. Casper.com/family hour. Offer code family hour. Get $50 off a wonderful hallucination pad. My dear lovers of the sun, there are wonderful ways for you to support the DTFH. The number one way is to join us at Patreon by going to patreon.com/DTFH. Another way, and much thanks to you who have been doing this, especially whoever bought the 100 gift cards or something. I don't even know. What are you doing out there? Who are you? What was that? I don't understand it, but I'm very grateful to you for doing it. I had this on Amazon, you can see what people are buying. Someone bought 100 gift cards, a lot of $10,000 worth of gift cards. Whatever it is you're doing, thank you so much. All you've got to do is go through our Amazon link located at duncantrussell.com. And when you do that, Amazon will give us a very small percentage of anything that you buy. The link is all over the Duncan Trussell Family Hour website. If you go scroll down to the very bottom or go in the comments section of any of these episodes, it's there for you. Buy something on Amazon. Right now, I'm on the fence about buying something. I almost did it. It's one of those things you definitely forget that you've bought because you were so high when you bought it. They've got these bioluminescent orbs. I think they're called dino orbs. They have these things in there, I think, that are called dino flagellates or something. But basically, when you shake the orb, it glows this beautiful blue glowy color. It's like $100, $150 maybe. I came within inches of buying it, but I'm like, you know what? Let's just wait a few hours, eat some food, and see how we feel in a few hours. Maybe you're not in the right state to be buying bioluminescent orbs, but I don't know. I'm still on the fence. Has anyone experienced these things? I looked in the reviews, and some people are saying the little guys in there die really quickly or something. But if you were to go through the Amazon portal, Amazon would give us a very small percentage of that, and it would cost you nothing. And thank you to you who have been going through that Amazon link. We also have t-shirts, posters, and stickers located at duncantrussell.com. If you want to get some DTFH gear, it's all there for you. My dear friends, today's episode is with a brilliant comedian who has got a fantastic show on Comedy Central called Another Period. She's currently on tour with Moshe Kasher. If you listen to this today, you'll be able to catch the last few shows. If you're in Philadelphia, you can find out all those dates by going to NatashaLeggero.com. Go see her perform stand-up. She's brilliantly funny. And go see Moshe Kasher. He's amazing. And tell them I said hi. Okay, pals, let's do this. Everybody, please, open your heart chakras. Let your astral antennas emerge from your head. And welcome one of my longest friends here on planet Earth, a brilliantly funny comedian, an amazingly glamorous and sophisticated human being, the wonderful Natasha Leggero.
It's the Duncan Trussell Family Hour.
How did we used to start the Lavender Hour?
I don't remember. I think it was like we had just gotten into a half-hour fight of you making me do it.
You didn't. You liked it. People loved the Lavender Hour. I have Purple Popes come up to me to this very day who really liked our Lavender Hour.
It was good.
I mean, what was the format? I don't remember.
We would have a guest.
But we would talk before, right?
No. I think it was very impromptu.
No, I think that we
picked a topic?
No, I think that what we would do is wouldn't we talk for a little bit up front, and then the guest would come, and we would try to time it out.
Oh, so if a guest was coming over at 8,
yes,
we would start talking at like 7:30.
Exactly. Like we hadn't even thought that we could easily just record that after.
But that was kind of a cool way to do it because then, and remember I would make everyone a lasagna?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember that.
And then I think that was a good way to do it because then you had like momentum. And you had like, they could then join the conversation that you just started.
Oh my God, we really did try to do like a dinner party.
And then afterwards, I remember we would spend like hours editing it. And I would be like, okay, we should cut from that minute until that minute. And then it would like, why did we cut so much out of it?
I don't know.
Actually, some people should do that on their podcast.
You think so?
I mean, when the podcasts are like 2.5 hours or something.
I mean, I don't know. I'm up.
By the way, I'm very hesitant to do this podcast because every time I do someone's podcast, like Joe Rogan, Bert Kreischer, I just did that Brian Callen podcast. People are so mean.
Why?
They're just like, women shouldn't do podcasts. This bitch, would she? I told you, should have never listened to a woman on a podcast. It's like a certain energy of male that listens, and I also think they're your fans, some of them.
You think?
I don't know.
My fans are sweeties. I just don't see that. I mean, and if I don't know. I'm the problem is the internet, isn't it? Like the problem is that
they're like the philosopher types.
Philosophers. Well, I think the bigger problem is that people are cowardly, and they'll say things to people over the internet that they wouldn't say to them in real life.
That's
and
true.
It's a coward's just dream come true to have an outlet where you can attack somebody for doing nothing more.
I posted a picture of myself the other day and someone goes, "When are you due?" I mean,
unbelievable.
Like, I'm not fat. Like, imagine people who really are overweight. Like, it must be awful.
Well, I mean,
you just have to delete comments, I guess.
You just get good at not paying attention to the demons. That's all. You just got to get good at that because there's demons out there. There's people who are very, very, very frozen up, and they're in hell. Because you
think they feel bad after they post something mean?
No, I don't think they. I think they're so down below the water that they don't even know that what they're doing is fucked up. They don't understand it. They're so down below the water. They're not awake. They're
right. Because if I post something about Ivanka Trump, in a way, I'm doing a version of that.
That's right. Yeah, and you don't realize that's a person. Ivanka Trump's a person, and she sees that and probably, in some way feels bad. You know?
I mean, probably not.
Well, that's what they think about you.
Right, exactly. But I do see every post.
Yeah, but they just think, oh, she's rich. She's this rich, famous comic. She doesn't even read this stuff. I don't mean anything. I'm a meaningless thing. I don't see it. They don't know that, yeah, we read this. And sometimes it's really bothersome. It makes you feel bad, you know? But like, I have been playing around on Twitter a little bit with the bots. Have you tried this yet?
No. Is it trolling?
What's that?
Trolling?
Not really trolling. I guess you could call it like bot trolling or something. I mean, I'm not really sure about what it is. You want to hear my new theories? Mm-hmm. Crazy theory? Okay. So, I mean, this is based on a statistic that is probably made up by someone who just ate way too many marijuana brownies or something, which is, the statistic is, the United States military is technologically always 7 years ahead of us, right? So the U.S. government technologically is somehow 7 years ahead of us. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know, but kind of makes sense. They got a lot of money to...
In the same way Apple knows what they're going to be doing in the next 7 years or something.
That's right. And Apple's probably... Oh, yeah, exactly. They probably already have prototypes that they're going to release down the line. And the U.S. military probably has... They probably have weapons and crazy stuff that they are working on or have completed that they won't talk about until it's time to use them because they don't want anyone to know that they have it. So Ray Kurzweil has these predictions.
The singularity, right? He
Yeah.
did that.
So the prediction is like, when are we going to have a strong general AI or an AI that can... When are we going to have an AI that can pass the Turing test? So I've been thinking lately like, oh, shit. If the government and the military, you could say, is a branch of the government, if our government has access to super advanced technology, they might have an AI by now that could pass the Turing test. And
can you tell me what the Turing test is?
you couldn't tell the difference between it and a person. If you were like on the phone with it, you couldn't tell if it was a person or not. Or if you were texting.
Now there's going to be all these comments like, that bitch didn't even know what the Turing test is.
Well, maybe that's a robot telling you that. This is what I'm realizing is that, or what I've been thinking, and it's a really paranoid thought. But okay, here's a funny thing that a lot of us think about the government is we're like, they're behind when it comes to tech. You know, like these old senators, they don't know anything about the internet, about Twitter. They don't know what this is. Most of them can't even text. And it's like, wait, really? You think the government isn't deeply interested in controlling the internet, manipulating public opinion through the internet? Of course they are. Of course they are.
In the same way corporations are interested in it.
Anyone who wants power is going to be interested because the internet has become our town hall, right? And so what I've been doing is going on to, anytime Trump tweets, or once in a while when Trump tweets, I'll say things that are the go-to phrases for people who are on one side or the other. So most recently, like I was like, Trump's the second best president, Lincoln's the first. But I'm...
You'll tweet that from Duncan Trussell's or Twitter?
MD. It says Duncan Trussell MD, right? So it says, like I'm a medical doctor. So I'll tweet this, and I misspell Lincoln on purpose. Because the game is this. People on the left call people on the right stupid. People on the right call people on the left elitists, obsessed with transgender, right? That's the game that is being played right now. So if you use these catchphrases, you summon the bots. You summon these weird accounts that come to you. And if you pose as someone on the left, you're going to get somebody from the right being like, go back to Hollywood, you leftist, you liberal piece of shit, or whatever. And then you go to their account and you realize they've been tweeting every 6 minutes for the last 7 days. And what they're tweeting is memes. And on top of the memes are just accounts.
There's a lot of accounts like this?
An unbelievable
Why doesn't
number.
someone start compiling them?
Well, because there's so many. It would be impossible to do.
So they can't, there's not anyone behind it who's like Googles you and sees that you're not on the right.
No one.
There's no like.
So there's two things at play. One, no one's look at the I have this fantastic thread with Brendan Walsh where I'm posing as a Romanian medical doctor who is losing.
I love that. Wait, what did you say that you don't believe in? You had some very funny comments that things that you don't believe in as a doctor.
Well, I just don't think. No, this doctor character that I've been playing doesn't believe in government regulation for surgeries.
For surgeries, right?
He thinks you should be able to do surgeries whenever you want, and Brendan has added to it that I've lost my license, and the improv has turned into I lost my license because I gave some kind of bee venom to an infant to make his lips bigger, and he had an allergic reaction and it killed it. So I have people who are like saying to me, "You are a fucking monster. You steaming pile of fucking shit. No wonder you."
And those are bots.
No, those are actual people.
Oh, okay.
So there's two things at play. One, anyone who goes to my account is going to see right away, oh, this is just an asshole. It's not a doctor. I don't know what it is, but it's a dumbass. Whoever this is not a doctor. I guarantee that. But no one's investigating that far. So we have two things at play. One, a huge swath of the population believes whatever they see on Twitter is real. They're not investigating. No one's doing their due diligence. To add to that, there are bot swarms that are taking advantage of this and posting facts that are completely wrong by waiting for people to say key phrases that trigger the bots to appear. And I think the bots are on both sides. The bots are made to look like they're on the left and on the right, and then they land in a thread and start fighting each other. And that drowns out the main conversation of the thread. That's what I think is happening.
Who's behind the bots?
There is no telling. Is it Russia? Is it some other nation state? Is it the U.S. government? Is it chaotic hacker collectives? Is it 4chan? Is it just people having fun, like weird meme sorcerers? We don't know.
Because I know that I've heard that people are on Facebook and, if they see the buzzwords, they'll just start posting fake news, like news that is not real, that will make the right mad.
Yeah.
And then doesn't matter that it's not real.
No.
Like for example, the Hillary Clinton runs a sex ring.
Yeah, that.
That was something that was like posted as a real story.
That's real.
I mean, I would believe a lot about her, but maybe not that she runs a child sex ring.
We got to do our due diligence. That's the thing. We have to do our. I mean, the creepiest. I had a very creepy conversation because I was talking to this rabbi at this retreat about. I think the thing with Hillary Clinton is that she has some connection to a person who actually got busted for some kind of like human trafficking out of Haiti. Now, when I say that, I could easily have just been infested by fake news. And
you hate Hillary Clinton.
I don't hate her. I really don't hate her. I don't hate Obama. I don't hate Trump. I don't feel hate for them at all. I just think that it's ridiculous to lionize any of these people.
I love when people now are still posting pictures of Hillary Clinton like she's our lost hero.
That's she failed. She strategically failed.
Beautiful woman, you really, what could have been?
It's so fucked up.
Well, that's how you know the difference between like a liberal and a leftist, right? Like the liberals are still sort of crying.
Yeah, and the leftists are just, the leftists are like pissed, you should be pissed because whatever the strategy was failed miserably. And now, because of that, who knows? I don't know. There's so many, the problem is like, you got to look at like all the facts. You have to look at everything, right? We've got all these things at play and it's not just one thing. And some of them aren't bad and some of them are atrocious. And so, I've been really exploring this. So I have fake accounts where I go on I created a fake account because about what's it called? The filter bubble. You know about this?
Mm-mm.
So the filter bubble is you are going to tend to, whatever you tweet, whatever you go to on the internet is going to get amplified by AI. So it's going to start giving you more of what you like. And by getting more of what you like, you become a kind of extremist.
And you already get more of what you like by following people who have like-minded views, your friends.
That's right. Right. And then Twitter will suggest
More people who are like
Yeah.
those who your friends follow.
Yeah. And then you're in the filter bubble. So now that you're in an echo chamber surrounded by people who mostly agree with you, and then this has the effect of radicalizing you because you begin to think that's what the world is like. And anyone who has a different opinion seems insane. It's like someone wants
I truly feel that.
the filter bubble.
No, I truly feel that if someone is like pro-Trump, they might be mentally ill.
Right. Yeah, they might be mentally ill. So what you need to do is go create an email. Everyone listening, do this just so you can get some compassion. Create an email, create a fake Twitter account, put a picture of an American flag as your as your image.
Who do you follow?
What?
Who do you follow?
Just whoever they suggest.
Oh.
You see?
So you put an American flag when like Republican,
Yeah, give yourself like a cool little like say something like
maybe a gun.
love my country, love my family, think that America's the greatest country on earth.
Coffee and guns.
MAGA.
MAGA.
Right? So just say something like that, and then what'll happen is, you start following people who are on the right, and then you go into their threads.
This
and,
sounds fun.
yeah, it's great. And then they'll post like a picture of the Trump train. This is one of the things they do is like retweet this picture of the Trump train so that people who love Trump will follow you and you follow them back. So
That's the Trump train?
yeah, you get on the Trump train, and very quickly you start getting all these followers, right? And you start following people too. And so you start making positive comments when somebody, posts some like diatribe on YouTube or whatever about like Cernovich or fucking whatever. You're like, you have like obvious opinions that.
But you're saying that once you start reading these Cernovich, Alex Jones, you're reading these posts and you're like, oh yeah, I guess I really do see their side. Or don't you just like laugh and think, oh, these people really are crazy?
No, these people are not crazy. They're some of them are super lonely, and it's a way to like make online friends, but some of them are bots. So it's like it creates this. So if you basically what happens is it will humanize the thing that you've been demonizing. So you start interacting with them and you realize, oh, aside from the fact that these people have adhered to, I don't know, the government or to the state or to the president in this very intense way and have then bonded over a stigmatized opinion, aside from that, they're really sweet. There's nothing about them that's like evil. They're really quite sweet. They're a little like stubborn, and they seem to be a little like singular in their concept, which is ultimately that he can't do anything wrong. But
I mean, it just seems like a huge oversight to not see that someone like Donald Trump is going to use his power to get more power for himself and more money for himself. Like the idea that like, oh, he's a good businessman. I'd like to see what he does for our country and his, with his business plan. It's like he's just grabbing more money for himself.
Well,
and it seems that is like so obvious.
Let's look at that. That is definitely obvious. He's spending.
And how can you not know that?
But the truth is, he's spending a lot of money traveling around. He
played golf 25 times the first month or the first 5 months of this.
It's very expensive for us. But you have to look at the whole picture. And the whole picture is this. The stock market is doing better than I think it's ever done in history. Like
I don't understand why that is though. What's behind that?
Well, I don't fucking know, which is why we're not president. But the stock market's doing really good. Apparently I guess there's some kind of like, again, this could be just bullshit news, I don't know. Some kind of like job surge in jobs is happening. There's been a ceasefire that is held in Syria because of whatever he did with Russia. Now, like, we're sanctioning them, and they're like our relationship's weird because the U.S. government is doing all these sanctions against them. But
I mean, I guess that's a trade for national humiliation. Because I've been doing a lot of traveling, and everyone, whether you're in Greece or Canada, people are just like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Why is that your president? I mean, like, everyone's like curious and sad and disgusted.
Yeah. Yeah, he's reviled. And as he should be, because he's a egoic, narcissistic, angry, vengeful person who like bluntly tweets lies that are just obvious lies. And for me, like most importantly is he put into power Jeff Sessions, who has this archaic view on psychedelics and drugs. He wants to start the war on drugs all over again. And also he keeps talking about wanting to stop subsidizing healthcare, which will essentially kill.
Oh, so Jeff Sessions' quest is to restart the war on drugs?
He did. He already restarted it. So there's all these. I guess my point is, you got to look at the whole picture. It's like there's lots of stuff that he's done that apparently is good. I mean, there's a ceasefire in Syria. That's good. The stock market's booming. That's good. The economy.
Environment.
Horrible. The deregulations are horrible. But we got to look at the whole picture. Mm-hmm. Because if you become singular, because when you go to the right and you realize they're singularly focused on what's great about him, some people are, not all of them. But then you go on the left and you realize they're singularly focused on what's bad about him. Not like saying the truth, which is the guy's kind of funny. He's funny. Like he is funny. There's something really likable about him that you could see it. There's something about him that's like clumsy yet charismatic, puffy yet something about him that's like kind of cool. You would want to hang out with him maybe. It'd be fun. That if you were around him, he would charm you. Like the stories you hear about how like, I hear a story about how he showed up at some Buddhist event and your shoes were supposed to be off. And somebody's like, oh, you have to take your shoes off. And he was like he takes his shoes off. He's so apologetic. He's like, I'm so sorry. Like there's aspects you have to.
Okay, but that is not that big of a deal.
No, but we have to humanize. All I'm saying is let's humanize each other. Let's humanize people on the right. Let's humanize people on the left.
We have to.
Yes. It's not as fun because you don't get to have these stark enemies. You end up with.
Okay, well, how do you humanize them?
What?
How do you humanize them?
How do you humanize
them? It can't just be like in your mind.
Well, you got to talk to them. I mean, that's the main thing is you got to talk to them. And to talk to them, you have to pose as them. Because otherwise they're going to put their brakes on around you and try to teach you a lesson.
What about the racist undertones?
Oh, my God. I mean, who deserves compassion more than someone who's got the fucking mind virus of racism? This is it's all. And why is the racist hated? Well, because the racist has dehumanized people based on some arbitrary qualities. I mean, this is the problem. If the idea is we can't let ourselves as a species be broken up in this way, be fragmented over the state. We're going to let the fucking state fragment us? That's insanity.
This is definitely we're more divided than we've ever been, don't you think?
Well, I think that
in my lifetime.
If I wanted to attack a country, how would I do it? What does a bomb do? It divides. It divides flesh from bone. It divides glass from concrete. It divides buildings. Bombs divide. And so this bomb that's been dropped on us, and it's been documented, which is the bot swarms that are creating false narratives and giving the impression that we're fighting each other, has possibly amplified a division that was there but wasn't quite as bad as it seemed. And so if you want, I mean, this is what Putin, in that interview with what's her name, Kelly, I can't remember her name.
Conway? Or no, Kelly.
I can't remember her name. I don't. He did this interview, and he's like, I don't mean to hurt your feelings, but the United States has been going into other countries and
Megyn Kelly.
He's like, I don't want to hurt your feelings, but the United States has been going and fucking up elections in other countries for a very long time.
Here's the problem, though, with the compassion thing you're talking about,
yes.
Is that I don't know anyone who knows anyone who voted for Trump. It's not like they're like normal people. I mean, maybe I'm like totally isolated, but I don't know one person out of 1,000 people that I know who voted for him. So these people, you have to like create a fake account to even find out who they are.
Oh, there's a lot of them. You're just in the filter bubble. It's not that they're not out there. They're in the filter bubble too. Technology is causing a lot of these problems because it's separated us into different teams, into different camps. And when we're in those camps, certain strong personalities appear and fan the flames of rage and anger and hate. So what you do, there's a few different things you can do. One, create, just for fun, everyone do this, not to add to the chaos, create an account that represents a leftist. And what you do there is put a picture of, in your profile, put a picture of a safety pin, or put a picture of like...
A snowflake?
A snowflake, or put asterisks around your name, ironically, or put a picture of like a rainbow flag, or a picture of Hillary, or whatever, in the banner, like rainbow flags, gay march.
So the bots can read pictures.
So, well, no, I'm saying so that you can then, as a left-wing person, have a left-wing account and a right-wing account. And then as a left-wing person, go into the right and talk to them as that person and see how they treat you. They'll attack you. They'll call you a cuck. They'll call you an idiot. You're an elitist. Go into the left with your right account and just say anything to them and watch what they say to you. They'll say you're an idiot. Classic idiot who voted for Trump. There we go. Another white male who can't spell. It's your, not your. That kind of shit. And then you realize oh my God, the way we're interacting with each other is atrocious.
Yeah, you can also get that. What I do when I'm in a hotel room is turn on Fox News and go back and forth. And it's because, crazy things happen every day. So it's there's never a dull news day. There's always a firing or something crazy, all of a sudden transgender ban to distract or whatever it is. So Tucker Carlson, there was a week I was watching it, he just kept talking about all the violence on the left.
Yeah.
Which is something that you never even think of happening at all. But he just would not let it go and just interviewing people, railroading people.
Yeah.
Have you ever watched that guy?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Totally. I've watched Tucker Carlson. Yeah. He's.
But then people must believe it. And I'm sure that the right or the left is saying things that maybe are, I don't know though.
You got to see the interview he just did with Lucian Greaves from the Satanic Temple.
He did an interview with him?
Oh, God.
Tucker Carlson?
Oh, and I think he didn't research Lucian Greaves enough or something to recognize it. I think Lucian Greaves has an Ivy League. He went to Harvard or something. He's very, very smart.
That sounds great.
Very smart. Very smart. And Tucker Carlson, I think, was expecting, I don't know, man, some kind of I don't know.
Goth
on synthetic marijuana or something. And he ends up with this really, really astute activist, Satanist. And he just got decimated by him. And it was amazing to watch it go down. And Carlson had this ridiculous, it was feigning this look of confusion, even though everything that Lucian Greaves was saying was just pure logic, just pure, inarguable, perfect logic. It was beautiful to watch. And it was beautiful to watch because basically you had somebody playing a character who maybe really is kind of evil, talking to somebody who's not playing a character who is a Satanist, And it was interesting to watch these two things smashing against each other. But anytime you have Tucker Carlson or whoever it is fanning the flames of division.
Mm-hmm. Alex Jones.
Yeah, Alex Jones or whoever. It's you want to do something revolutionary, start trying to reduce the divisions that are being created by these pundits and entertainers who are just getting famous from their ability to stir up trouble. I mean, God, I'm guilty of it as much as anyone else. But when you think about it, if you really wanted to fuck with the state, the way to do it would not be to create division. It would be to create links, connection, find where we're all connected so we become a people, a democracy. That's the idea. Don't let them fuck with us, and don't get confused and think that what the opinions you're seeing on the internet represent the majority. Really what you're seeing is the opinions of the loudest, and it's not everyone. That's what's going down. But I think there's an actual active campaign to produce the illusion of division or to find where there is division and make it more. And that's a weapon. That's what you'd want to do if you wanted to weaken a country, is you'd infiltrate their internet and you would create you would fan the flames of civil war. That's how you'd fuck a country up, is to create a civil war. If you had a weapon that could cause a civil war, Wow. That's way better than a nuclear bomb.
We better get some guns.
Well, you should have guns. Anyone should have guns. Guns are a blast. You should.
I went to some gun place, and it was so horrifying to shoot. And I'd never shot before. The guy just gave it to me. And he's like, yeah, just make sure you don't put your finger there, because that would be really bad. And I'm like, wait, can you explain to me? And then I walk into the room, and they're just like, some guy with a machine gun is just like rapid firing. And the guy, the main guy who's kind of like the chaperone dude, he's like, no rapid fire. And the guy just keeps rapid firing. And and when I got there, he was like, because you have to pick out what your target is. And I was like, do you have any Trump? He was like, no, but I got some Hillary Clinton. This is like in LA. And Moshe's like, just don't do jokes here. Like
that is so funny.
But we got like 50 rounds, and I was so scared, and he was kind of scared too, because neither of us had ever shot a gun before, and we did two shots and then left.
You know
then
what?
Moshe told him that I was scared.
Is this part of a show you guys are doing?
No, we thought, because Moshe thinks that, liberals should get guns, because obviously if there is a civil war, what do you got all these like people who are nearsighted with their glasses and no guns? I mean, obviously we're going to lose.
If I had pissed off the alt-right as much as Moshe has, I'd probably want a gun too. Listen, you guys.
But they got so pissed off because why? He discussed cultural appropriation and examined both sides of it. I mean, it just doesn't feel like, very intellectual to like just get mad because there's like a buzzword, and then I don't know.
Well, this is the problem, isn't it? I mean, this is the kind of the problem, is because it's like the way people are interacting with each other is not conducive to what I think people like Moshe want to have happen. Is that it is for there to be more of a unified, like, let's figure out where we are divided and why we are, and work it out. Like, that's the idea, is we work it out. We're a community. I mean, this is not to sound completely ridiculous and nationalistic or cheesy, but we are a country right now. And a lot of people really did die in wars so that we could be experiencing what we're experiencing right now. It means a lot to people. It's a real phenomena that has happened. And so we people talk about a prosperity for a country, and there can't be any greater prosperity than for the citizens of a country to at least grudgingly work together. At least that.
Okay, with this like hippie movement that you're talking about, that you're trying, and maybe you could lead. I think we need help. Like, maybe we all need to get on drugs, though.
No, I think you and Moshe are the answer.
I don't think we can do this without drugs, Duncan.
No, it's you and Moshe are the answer. This is what I realized. You and Moshe have got to start, should do a show where you guys go into the right, into the conservative world, and spend time with them.
Why don't you do that show?
I'm not going to hang out with them. I'm just kidding. Well, no, because, I think for you guys, because it's like, I think that, like, a couple going to spend time, like, Louis Theroux, he would do that thing where he'd spend a weekend with, like, white supremacists, or he would, like, hang out with Scientologists, or he would go...
Do you not know me?
What do you... I know you.
This is not something I want to do.
No, I think it'd be good for you, and it'd be good for people, because you guys were hanging out with, because people would realize, like, oh yeah, you're just fun. My dad thinks you're hilarious, and my dad is like as conservative as they come.
Your dad's a Trump voter?
Yes.
I guess I do know a Trump voter then.
You do, and it's like, I talk to my dad about it, and I hear his POV and what he thinks about it and why he thinks about it. And maybe
does he like his ethics, and does he think he's dangerous?
Well, he right now they're a little annoyed with him because they were annoyed with him in Alabama because he's like knocking Jeff Sessions, and Jeff Sessions comes from Alabama,
which is very odd to just be like roasting someone on your couch. I mean, every day it seems like there's unprecedented attacks happening that have never happened. I mean, that's not normal, right? To be like roasting someone on your cabinet on Twitter.
Look, the thing is, I have no idea. Like, our understanding of the way the government runs is based on essentially a regime that we just came out of, which was the Clintons. It was Obama. It was Obama. It was like 8 years of this very specific way of doing things that people call globalism. We were at war, and before that we were at fucking war. We're at all these wars, man. You know, the United States has been at war for something like 80% of its history.
I know, that's so crazy because that doesn't feel real.
It's an industry. So we've been at war for 80% of our history, and that war has been, at least for the last 8 years, led by Obama because he was the president. So we've been at war for 8 years because of Obama, blowing people up, killing people. That's Obama. Trump has killed people too, his stupid air raids he's doing, but we've got this peace in Syria happening, right? So it's like, and before Obama, it was what? It was the Bushes, right? War. So it's like, what do you want? You want a president who's like insane and firing people and tweets stupid shit? Or do you want a very charismatic, very intelligent, very, very, very seductive president who doesn't tweet weird shit, who has a kind of regal quality, but who's actively causing wars to happen? Which do you want?
But what about like the scary war, like nuclear war and activating, yes.
With Korea?
And then getting China mad at you, and then, you know, you don't see any sort of future in that, like us just being destroyed.
What do you mean? Like, are we going to get attacked by North Korea? Mm-hmm. I don't know. But at least with North Korea, we have like an obvious thing, which is a psychotic guy with nuclear weapons is threatening to shoot us with nuclear weapons. At least that's happening. I mean, that's like, at least there's like a cut and dry thing going down there where it's not like, you know, when you ask most people, hey, why are we in Afghanistan? They'll be like, well, I don't know. I don't know why we're in Afghanistan. So
you think that we should all just try to get along?
What?
You think we should all just try to get along?
Well, I mean, I think we have to. That's essential to the survival of our species that we get along. And it's also quite delightful.
What about this cryptic thing you said on your Sam Tripoli podcast?
Oh, about the
the angels from the right, or from the angels from the good.
My theory?
Yes, who are going to...
So cool that you listen to my podcast.
Who are going to come and save us?
Well, yeah.
People who are just doing good, who have power.
This is what I think. Your
theory.
Yes. My theory is that there are some very, very intelligent people in the world right now. Very intelligent people. And man, they're...
Not uncorrupted.
I'll give you an example. I just interviewed this guy, Ethan Nickturn. He's what's called a Shastri. He's a Buddhist teacher in the lineage of Chogyam Trungpa. He's a familial Buddhist. He was raised a Buddhist. He's like been initiated into it, and he's a Shastri. He's a teacher, and to get to that point requires a lot of training. So I had him on my podcast, and it was really interesting because as I'm sitting across from him talking to him, I realized, oh, this isn't a person like I am. This is a different thing. This person is different. This is what happens when you meditate your whole life. It's not a me. This is a.
You're like, I talk about meditating my whole life.
Yes. If I meditated as much I talk about it, I would be him. But you realize that what his singular focus is to, he's sworn to, as much as possible, reduce suffering in the world. And so every single thing that he does, mostly every moment when he's around people, he's trying to reduce suffering. And he's doing it in a way that a person with training does that. Through logic, through like his mannerisms, through everything. And so I was talking to him.
But like one person at a time kind of thing?
Well, their idea is this. This is a lineage of Buddhism. The idea is this. They're householders instead of monks. So instead of like taking up robes and going into mostly a solitary life, a monastic life, they go into the world, live lives as like people with families and jobs, but their normal human ego has been completely shifted so that it's just not there anymore. Like what I said to him is like, you're like a doctor who's pretending to be a patient in a lunatic asylum. And you're doing this to go around and try to bring peace to the world. And he's actively doing that. He's really doing that. Not in a didactic way. Not like, this is what I do, man. But that is what he does. In every moment, that's what he's doing. That's one example of it. And for every Ethan Nickturn, I think there's probably 1,000 other people like that.
So you don't know about like a group of people who have this plan?
Well, I mean, if I did, I don't think I would like... I think the thing... I'll tell you this much. If there was a group like that, I guarantee that anything I knew about them, they would have shown that to me on purpose because they know I have a big mouth. You know? Like, people aren't... There's very smart people out there. And it's in the interest of all of us to have a planet that works.
I'm very concerned about the planet, though, because I feel like if this were the 60s and there was no internet, that maybe we would have a chance. But I feel like people are so supremely distracted, and it's making us completely apathetic.
Yeah.
And it's making us, oh, I posted a picture of this, so it's like I've done my part. And I've hashtagged, trans people have rights. And it's like, I mean, that's great, obviously, to do, but I just feel like... And then not even that, when you're not doing that, my husband Moshe is a comedian, he'll get in a 10-hour fight with a Twitter egg. It's like,
he's good at it.
And he's like spending his time arguing with a bot 10 hours. That's taking away from like,
but he's
not only is it taking away from quality time
Yeah.
with each other, but it's also taking away from like what's something real that you could be doing.
God, those threads are entertaining though, man. Those threads, I've gone on many a Moshe thread watching him like slowly lure someone in and like tap dance all over them. I've really found it to be quite enjoyable.
I mean, it's probably a mental exercise that he likes to do. I mean, it's probably like doing the crossword or something. But in a way, it's not fair because he's so smart. Why would you want to get into a fight with someone who's like a quarter as intelligent as you?
Well, I mean, I think that, I don't know, there's a lot of reasons, who knows? Why does a cat play with a thing before it eats it? Who knows? We don't know, but...
Well, the point is the internet has swallowed us whole, and I do feel that it is definitely going to be our downfall. And then, to compound it, we have this president who's like using the internet in this like really negative way, and it's just like everything is cut to 10 years from now, we're in these pods where our bodies don't even matter, and I don't know. I mean, it just feels like hopeless to me.
Well, I think that's that is a potential timeline. Some version of that, some super technological society that gets lost in some insular form of community.
WALL-E.
Yeah, WALL-E. Right?
And I got a massage the other day, and she said every single person is like looking down at their, like they have some like, something in your neck or whatever. It's like everyone has this issue now because everyone's just looking down at their phones and, and it's sucking us in and like, I waste so much time.
Listen, we have to be creative. And sure, a lot of internet addiction is happening right now. A lot of people are I certainly do. They're spending too much time absorbing information on the internet. It's true. But there's great hope. The hope is the hope that has always been the great hope, which is that once we can overcome the little things that are dividing us, which is politics, the little things that are dividing us.
But politics also, like racism. I mean, there's a lot of like...
All of it's little. Racism, misogyny, it's all little compared to the big problems that we're facing as souls who have incarnated in this dimension, which is we're going to die. We're going to get old, we're going to die. And we're all suffering. We're all so sad. We're all hurting. Everyone's hurting secretly or not so secretly.
I wish there was more besides the phone. I feel like the phone is everything now. And it's like, that just seems so boring to me.
Well, there is more.
And it's 10 years now since the iPhone was introduced. And I think they really thought that it was like going to like help everyone have access to the most amazing information.
Yes.
And it didn't do that. I mean, I'm sure it also did do that, but like ultimately that's not what we think of.
Well, what's happening is we've been disrupted. Like our society is disrupted by we're experiencing. I think of it as the foreshocks before the singularity. So before there's a really big earthquake, there's like little tremors that happen. And so if you want to understand just how disruptive what's coming is, you can see, just like what your masseuse said, everyone's looking down now. The president's tweeting shitty things. We're fighting on the internet.
Not only that, we're waking up. The first thing we do, at least like 10 years ago, the first thing you did was smoke a cigarette. Now the first thing you do when you wake up, you roll over, you look at your phone,
Yes.
and you probably get pissed.
Yes.
You look at the news,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh my God. I mean, I know that like, I try to not do that, but I definitely see that that's what Moshe does. And like things like the transgender ban, like anything that like sets us back, I think it like, he'll get in a bad mood all day.
Well,
And everybody, that's such a,
the practice is, so, okay, that's what we're doing. Okay, fine, that's what we're doing. So
we're all going to wake up and get mad.
But the trick is to get out of our heads. So you can do that practice of looking at your phone if you like. Wake up, look at your phone, all right, fine. And you see the thing, whatever it may
Or
be.
sometimes it's fun, kafefe.
Yeah.
And then you laugh, and then you're in a good mood.
Yeah. Right. You're in a good mood or not, or you still feel kind of empty, whatever it may be. But you can, I think, instead of like rejecting the internet culture or the absorption of information, pick up your fucking phone and watch yourself. That's all. Don't even change a single thing. Watch yourself and watch what happens and what you'll see.
You mean be mindful as you do it.
Yeah.
See what you click on.
Watch the pattern. Watch your hand stretch out. Watch your hand pick up the phone. Watch the way you wipe your eyes because your eyes are still a little bleary because you just woke up. Watch the way you go to Twitter to look at the thread of the thing that you did or someone said or the news or whatever you go to first. Watch the way that you feel. And then notice that the thing that you think is being caused by the news is actually a fundamental quality of your existence. So you look at the thing and you're like, oh my God, I cannot fucking believe that this son of a bitch is trying to figure out a way to take healthcare away from people with pre-existing conditions or whatever. And you'll feel...
And he's this much closer today.
Yes. And you feel the dull ache. And you like to think that dull ache is because our healthcare is getting taken away. And it's like, no. That dull ache is called fundamental dissatisfaction and is a direct result of existing in space and time as a sentient being that's going to die, who's trying to attach himself or herself to permanence. That's what you're feeling. Only it feels better to imagine if the president was someone else, the pain would go away.
Okay, let me ask you this. What if you lived in Montreal and you woke up every morning to universal health care and daycare?
You're going to feel the same way. You're going to look at the United States news.
Like it's like a utopia. Oh, you'll look at the United States and get depressed about that.
Yeah. What if there's a nuclear war? You'll always find some reason to rationalize the ceaseless suffering that you're feeling. And the idea is to begin to like not identify with the suffering, but to have compassion for it. Start like watching the feeling. And also watch the feeling before you look at your phone. If you wait a minute, that thing that happens when you wake up and you forget you're a human. You wake up, you don't know who you are, where you are, what you are. Not like you've blacked out or anything, but that weird thing that can happen sometimes where you wake up and everything's great. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm talking about, Natasha? Mm-hmm.
Well, that happens to me more like if I'm, reading something really good or on some sort of meditation kick or yoga kick.
Yeah.
I mean, that happens a little more when you're living better.
Yeah, you get the clouds part.
Or when I was doing the artist way or something,
Yeah.
you'd wake up like, oh, really great.
Yeah, that's the practice. And it's like, that's all you have to do is a practice. And it doesn't have to be that big a deal. It's like, you can still tweet. You can still be consumed by the news. You can still be, many of my friends in the Ramdas community are very upset about what's happening right now. And it really does bother them deeply, even though they've had a lifetime of practice. But if you can just get a little bit of composure, even a little bit, just a tiny bit of composure, then you're going to help a lot more than if you don't have a little bit of composure.
When you say composure, you mean just mindfulness?
Yeah, the stuff that starts happening when you're like chanting every day or you're meditating every day.
I mean, that might be the answer. That's the thing too. I haven't been meditating at all, and I think that it really works when you wake up and do it first thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of like The Secret, but it's so hard to do because as soon as you get online and then as soon as you answer a call and as soon as you deal with the dogs, it's like kind of over.
Right. Well, that's
that moment of chance.
That's the mind telling you it's over. It's not over. So what you do is as you're doing whatever the things are that you do in the morning, that's when you chant.
But that's not really...
Sure it is. 100% it is. And that part of you that just went...
You chant while you're like taking the dogs out?
You chant while you're taking the dogs out. And of course your mind is like, but that's not really it. Because the mind wants to produce a place where it only can be.
But I also know you and you don't like discipline, so you've told yourself that this is just as good.
It's true.
You think? I feel like what I should do is it would be very easy for me to just wake up 15 minutes earlier than I do, go upstairs, light some incense, and just spend that 15 minutes before I like do everything else. But I don't do that because I want to press snooze.
I was talking to Sharon Salzberg at the retreat, interviewing them, and I asked her the question. I was like, come on, isn't everything kind of a practice? Like, like I like to drink whiskey and watch... I like to drink whiskey and watch Forensic Files. That's or Westworld. That was what I got in this whiskey Westworld kick. Because on Westworld they drink whiskey and you like drink whiskey with them and you feel like a cowboy or some shit.
Sounds fun.
It's fun until you wake up the next day with a terrible hangover. But I was asking her, isn't that a practice? Like if I drink the whiskey with mindfulness, and she's like, yeah, it's a practice, but you're practicing the wrong thing.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's funny. So no, it's true. It's like there are more focused ways of doing it, but we have to think in terms of like, well, we'll get to that point. The idea is with a
not be so hard on yourself that you don't do anything. Because you're right. What you're saying I could do. Yeah, easily.
Today. And
start.
This is how we do it. It's like you start. I've started chanting Hare Krishna again, and it's like.
That's a cool chant.
It's the best. It's my favorite.
Where do you get one of these bags with the beads?
Hare Krishna Temple. Just go to the Hare Krishna Temple. They have it. I'll send you one. But
because I like it because it's discreet, so you don't have to walk around so people know you got like beads in your hand.
That's right. Yeah, it's wonderful.
Private.
Natasha's talking about japa beads, and the Hare Krishnas put them in this bag. So, which is really great because if you're walking around with a big string of fucking beads, you look like such a cunt. You're just like, oh, look at me chanting on my beautiful beads. I must be an enlightened being. But if you have this like little like dull blue bag, nobody really knows what's going down.
So you don't think there's anything evil about the Hare Krishna chant?
Evil?
I don't know.
It's the Maha Mantra. It's the great mantra. No, I mean,
it's just like publicly kind of shunned because of the bad press they got in the 60s, I guess.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because
or someone wasn't one of the leaders like taking money or fucking people or something.
It's organized religion. I mean,
right.
It's like, yeah.
That's the thing. It's like whenever there's a power like that, people try to control it.
But the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra precedes the International Society for Krishna Consciousness by 1 billion years. It's the names of God, and it has existed infinitely, probably before people could even say it. It's existed. So they.
I love the chant. I'm just saying it's one of those things like you say it, and like I'd say 60% of the time, people will probably think you're crazy.
Yeah, well, I mean, what are they saying? What chant are they doing? Everyone's got some people have truly evil chants. Like.
You took me to the Hare Krishna temple, and if someone is interested in that, I suggest just going to the temple because that is like, it's a very catchy song, and you just kind of like get it in like a second.
Yeah, and
they give you a nice vegetarian meal,
and what's beautiful about the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra or any mantra, which will come to you, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, Om, Ram, any of them, is that it's going to do work too. Because people think it's all me. I wake up in the morning and I chant. I wake up in the morning, or when I'm walking the dogs, I chant. It's me. I'm doing this. No. When you start doing this, something else begins to work with you.
It's a very loving chant, the Hare Krishna.
Yes, it is.
I remember, I don't know if I told you this, but when you first took me there, when I first met you, I was doing the chant, and like we went to the Hare Krishna temple, and then I went in an airplane to do comedy somewhere, and I was chanting the whole time. And then the second I walked into the club, I had to go straight to the club. I was doing the chant, and then it was on the radio, that Beatles song.
My Sweet Lord.
And it was chanting exactly when I came in, it was like Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And then as soon as I was in there, was doing the same at the same time.
Yeah.
But I think that it's like, it does work it draws things to you.
It sure does. And it does it fast.
Not that you get it. Yeah. Yeah.
That's what's really beautiful about it, is it's when you start chanting Hare Krishna, if you want to get woo-woo about it, it's like very lucky to start chanting it. So if you start chanting it, there's a reason that you got to, those words even started coming out of your mouth. It's kind of a miracle. It's a reminder. It's like somebody with amnesia who suddenly starts like accidentally saying their social security number or something, or their phone number, or like starts saying their real name, who they are. It's like that. You start saying your real name when you've forgotten your identity for a long, long time. So there's a certain coming homeness to it. There's a feeling of coming home, because you're coming home back to what your true identity. And so you start chanting it, and that starts happening, and it happens quick.
And Om and Ram get kind of boring for me.
Well, you have to add Shri to Ram. It doesn't hurt when you add Shri Ram. Ram, Ram, Shri Ram, 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 Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram.
I'm not doing that.
Ram, Ram. Okay. You don't have to. But you will find the chant. Everyone will find their own thing. But the main thing is, it works on you. So you start one day, you wake up and you're like, you know what? I'm going to look on Twitter today. And I'm going to scan through Twitter, but chant Hare Krishna while you're doing it. Do it. That's the idea. Is it the way they put it is, we are in the Kali Yuga, and Hare Krishna is the chant for the Kali Yuga, for the last age, the age of disintegration.
When did that start?
There's different people have different opinions on that.
Like, do you think it's recent? I mean, you've been talking about Kali Yuga since I met you.
Yeah, well...
Do you think it, like, happened in the 60s? Do you think it's, like, more like our generation?
I think some people have, in like, the cosmology, I think they actually have, like, an actual date where it started, or it's considered to have started. But some people say there's another, like, 100,000 years of the Kali Yuga, that we're just in the very beginning. That this is, like...
And that means the destruction of the world, kind of thing?
Yeah, it's the final era, and it's just like a fire going out. Like... It kind of like, as the fire goes out, it just sort of, everything kind of dims. People are less intelligent. People are very distracted. People are very confused.
I always get a little happy when things like Google Glass and Oculus Rift like aren't taking off. Because it feels like that stuff just like keeps trying. Like when you watch the Singularity and the robots taking over, it does feel like there keeps being all these false starts, which makes me happy because I'm just more of a Luddite naturally.
That doesn't make you a Luddite. Actually, I talked to somebody at the Ram Dass retreat. It's so weird at the Ram Dass retreat because you went, and I don't know. I
liked it.
You liked it.
Did I say on your podcast I didn't like it?
No, I just wasn't sure.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't sure if you felt comfortable there.
I mean, I didn't like eating by myself and having to make conversation with strangers. That's just out of my comfort zone.
Why didn't we hang out more?
I don't know.
Well, we should have hung out more. The next one, you come with Moshe the next one. But the thing that happens is you get super high, man, when you're...
Oh, also, I didn't have access to any drugs.
Come to the next one. I'm just kidding. But you know, the thing is, like, I don't mean you literally get high from drugs. I get high from the vibe. But anyway, long story short, at the end of the retreat, you're like, there's this like wonderful final like ceremony that they do, and I was like, I couldn't help it. I was just crying, and like I was just feeling it, and there was this like, I felt like I was in ecstasy or something, and this woman next to me. And we're looking at each other like you're in ecstasy, and we're like, hi, oh my God. And then afterwards I'm talking to her, and she said the craziest thing. She said, we are two things that were crazy. But in that state, you'd believe just about anything. I certainly was like, maybe you're right. So she said, what's happening right now is where a timeline is splitting from another timeline. So it's such a cool idea, even if it's a fantasy. So the idea is the timeline that we're on right now, it's one where we aren't going to become a technological civilization in the normal way, that we're moving away from that. It's not going to be an authoritarian technological...
Wall-E kind of...
No, it's not. It's going to be, we're moving from the head into the heart. And there's another timeline that we're leaving, which is going to become purely technological. And these two timelines are splitting apart. And the singularity and the turbulence is literally two spaceships moving away from each other. And that the shit that's going on with the government is actually like, has to happen. The stuff that the crazy turbulence that's happening right now has to happen because we're pushing out of the atmosphere of a previous timeline and moving into a new one. And because we got lucky and got in this timeline that we're in right now, aliens are actually here, is what she said. The aliens are here. They're coming. They're here. They're disguising.
To then take the path of the technology?
Oh no, because they think they want to be in a civilization that like they come because like right when the thing that's about to happen to us happens. It's just, I think, really like incredible to watch. It's like watching like an initiation happen, or to watch a entire species open its eyes for the first time. I guess it's like when you watch a puppy open its eyes for the first time, and suddenly the puppy sees that it's surrounded by things that love it. Like our entire species, according to this idea, is about to open its eyes. And when we open our eyes, we're going to realize that we're surrounded by aliens. Like we've been watched and cared for and nurtured. And
you lost me at the first mention of aliens.
I know, it's so crazy.
But I don't. What does she mean?
Well, there's basically the idea is that like there's watchers here right now. They're
like some people are aliens, or they're invisible. Are there people that you like? Or
some people think that there's actual like they're here like tourists and they've been here for a while, and they're like hanging out with us and they pretend to be us and they're like watching, or just
like actual people
What?
You mean like people are actually aliens?
People. This is a speculation that people.
No, I know, but like
idea.
Yeah.
Oh, you might know some. You wouldn't know. I mean, the idea.
Are the aliens helping this split? I know this is someone else's when you were on ecstasy.
Well, I was not on ecstasy. I mean, I was just, but so the idea is that, I mean, it's really interesting. If you look at like Hindu mythology or many other mythologies, but particularly like the story of Vishnu, when things are out of balance, Vishnu appears. And to make balance happen again. So when things get really out of balance, God appears in some form. And in that form, balance happens again. So what you could then, if that's the case, then you could almost predict when things reach some maximum state of disequilibrium, you might expect something to show up to make things balance out again. Now, if we live on a planet that evolves, and super intelligent people definitely exist on the planet. There's no question about it. There's Stephen Hawking. There's a million examples of brilliant humans, brilliant artists. Well, where does the spectrum end? Where does it stop? Where does it stop? If you're famous, does that mean that's it? The famous smart people that we know? Really? Like only like Neil deGrasse Tyson or whatever, people at TED Talks or whatever, that's it? Or does it keep going? Does the spectrum keep going? And maybe there's actually something that happens when you get to a certain level of intelligence where you're like, I'm not going to get on camera. I don't want to fucking do that. I'm not interested in that at all. That seems...
Well, that becomes the problem with anyone who should be president would never do that.
Right.
They would never have that ego,
No, they wouldn't want to be limited.
Right.
Because if you're president, you're limited. So
I just say president because that is someone who can like lead.
I know, right? Or prime minister or whatever. But it may be that really, really smart people recognize that if they let themselves become president, which they easily could do, or if they let themselves become rock stars or famous actors or whatever the thing is, they would actually limit their ability to infiltrate the masses and to disseminate certain ideas that in a very slow yet consistent way cause the movement of a civilization towards unification. So the idea would be they would infiltrate, they would be there, they would be notable maybe. And these people, some of them I would guess, they're fucking flamboyant, but they're not overt, if that makes any sense at all. They're not jumping in front of the camera. So are they aliens? I don't fucking know. Are they connected to the universe? Sure.
Can you think of a different word than alien if you weren't allowed to use that word?
Sure. Angel.
Okay, that's better.
Angel. Deva. I don't know. There's a million different...
I agree with her that there will be a very dramatic split, but I feel it's just going to be conscious, and it'll be like, I want to be part of the anti-technology revolution, and I'm going to move to Ireland with these 4 other families, and
Cool.
we're all going to learn how to do shit. I don't know though, but I like glamour too much to do that. But maybe there's a way to also incorporate glamour.
Nature is so glamorous.
Yeah, that's
Oh
true.
my God.
That's true.
Nature's so
I know. All you have to do is watch Game of Thrones.
Yeah, just watch.
So beautiful.
It's so beautiful. And have a little garden and go look at a flower and it's very glamorous.
And then there's going to be people who are just so into it and just want to lay in their pod and eat their, protein butter and play their video games. And yeah.
Maybe you could do both.
I don't know.
You can have your...
Because it's going to just get more, you could be able to start having sex that way. It's going to make people so much more antisocial. Don't you think? Nintendo Switch, and then it just then there's whatever the Switch is, but it's more all encompassing. And then there's something where you can go into this thing and have sex with a woman and actually feel her wet pussy somehow.
Well, yeah, but I know. I'm sometimes I'll go on Twitch, and Twitch being the video game streaming service, and you'll land on certain Twitch accounts, and it might be a really cute girl who's playing video games, and there's a lot of guys who are in...
But you don't know that that's her, right?
What do you mean? You see them on camera playing video games.
Oh, I see.
And so there's guys who are in love with this girl. They watch her, they're in love with her, they give her money, they subscribe. And
they give her money.
Yeah, they give her money. They do, and you as you're watching this interesting interaction, I remember watching this guy say to this girl, well, good night. I got to go to bed now, Amanda. So I'll see you tomorrow.
And she's probably got a husband.
Yeah. She doesn't respond to him, but in his mind,
Aww.
She's his girlfriend. And I keep thinking, what is on the other side of that text or whatever he sent her? What's on the other side of the comment he made? What person is that? What world is he in? Is he in a little apartment?
So it probably works better for him to live like that.
No, it is. I think it crosses over to what you're saying, which is here's a person who's in a pod, who the glowing screen of the computer has replaced the outside world, a relationship, a very one-sided relationship that's fundamentally delusional, is making him believe that he has someone that he loves, and it's keeping him away from the universe, and so, yeah.
How do you feel after a 1 hour, nature hike versus how you feel after 1 hour of reading your @replies and reading Twitter?
Well, but how about after your great nature hike or a jog, you come back in and look at your @replies and you feel great. And you're I'm communicating with people in the world, but also I'm working on myself. It all goes back to what Ram Dass says. We work on ourselves so that we can help the people closest to us. If you want to change the world, start working on yourself. Don't suddenly think, I'm going to be a better person. No more internet, no more tweeting, no more news, no more getting in fights with people on Twitter, only nature hikes. No. What you do is you start a practice and then see how you interact with people. See what naturally changes, what falls away. How does your interaction online change when you've added one little component to your life, which is just the intention to open your heart up? See what happens. The stuff will either fall away or it'll change, I would guess. It'll change in the way, and maybe you'll find some compassion, and maybe you'll realize we need people like you tweeting and online and being out there on the camera and doing stuff. Because I think that this thing that's happening right now, we need people from all levels and parts of society.
Do you think but what about activating the hate and activating the racism and like that's not good. We don't need that.
Well, no, but we're going to recruit them. We're going to get you. We're going to get you. Oh, you're racist? You think you're so filled with hate? I'm going to try to, maybe we're going to try to get you.
What do you mean get you?
We want you. We want you to join up, man. We're going to take that hate and we're going to turn it into something real. We'll give you something to hate. We'll give you something to fight for. That's the idea. Like, what if we gave you something to fight for real? Something really worth fighting for, which is like the potential of what could happen if we all connect. Fuck. It's amazing. It's a fantasy. It's so fun to imagine. So I would guess that people probably want people from all sides, right?
Get on that Trump train.
Get on the fucking Trump. I don't care what train you're on, I guess it doesn't matter what the train is because we're all on the same fucking train. And I'll tell you, one of the things, and it could be fake news, but I've been fantasizing about this tattoo. Did you hear about that guy there was some freak on a train and who like, I don't know, he was like attacking someone in what's it called, a Muslim woman or something. Did you hear about this?
No.
I think it was in Portland. He was attacking some Muslim woman. You don't belong in this country. Get the fuck out of here. And these guys stood up to him and were like, stop doing that shit. That really happened. But what he said, I don't know if it's fake news, but what the guy did, the crazy guy was attacking the Muslim woman, pulled out a fucking knife and started stabbing these guys, right? And one of them, as he was dying, and it could be fake news, I hope he survived, but I think he died. He said, tell everyone on this train that I love them. That's the Trump train.
But it's a horrible story for sticking up for people because you just get killed.
Oh, no, you don't. That's the other problem is we all think we're part of the thing is we think we're our bodies. No, it's a war. It's a real war. And it's like by that guy dying in this incarnation in that beautiful way and saying those beautiful words. Oh, he lives. I mean, he's living now. He's like coming through the podcast. Even if he's fake, people have died for love before. And that's what we're into here, right? And weirdly, even the fucking racist piece of shit who stabbed him played a part in demonstrating how that modality is so much less powerful than dying for something like that. Oh, it's beautiful. So, I mean, I think that if there were angels or aliens, I think they want to recruit everybody. I think
what about robots, though? Do you think the aliens will get along with the robots?
I think we're hiring everyone. This corporation has an open door policy. Everyone's got a job. Everyone's got a job. It doesn't matter what you are. You're a fucking robot. Welcome.
Maybe you should run for office.
What?
Maybe you should run for office.
Nah, are you kidding me? Can you imagine? That would be hilarious, though. But it would be like they're just. I could never do it. I would never.
Who do we have, on the liberal agenda who's under 70?
Well, I don't know, but it'll.
I'm not saying you're the right choice.
I'm just gonna keep yapping on a podcast, but I'll tell you, Natasha, things are better than you think, and there's people hard at work right now, hard at work, and it's like it's that stupid sign, "We want you," with the dude pointing the finger.
And what is this company?
What?
What is this company?
It's the oldest company around, man. It's fucking the company. It's the thing. It's what happens in any time a planet gets to this point, I would guess. This company, it's been around for a long time. And I think everyone's welcome. And the idea is just believe in it. All you have to do is just even pretend it's there. And I can we don't have time because you got to split. But I can give a very convincing argument for its existence, just based on how things tend to evolve on this planet.
Why don't you give it?
What?
Give your argument.
Well, I think that like we've had examples in the past of beings appearing that have beautiful messages, and those beings tend to get, oftentimes they get killed, they get shot, and a lot of times those beings have periods of their lives where nobody knows what they were doing. Let me just give you an example. I'll give you one very quick example. The inventor of Bitcoin. Nobody knows who that guy is. Did you know that?
No.
No one knows who that is. This is a decentralized way of decentralized currency.
Did he make money?
He has $1 billion worth of Bitcoin sitting in his account, and he doesn't touch them. He could be dead. He could be a group of people. We don't know. The point is, no one knows who this guy is. He just came into the world, produced a technology that decentralized currency. One of the most...
But no one uses it.
What? It's one of the most... I think Starbucks takes fucking Bitcoins
Oh,
now.
really?
Yes. It's a revolutionary peer-to-peer currency. Is it going to be the final one that people use? Who knows? But it's revolutionary. That's just in one example. No one knows who that guy is. He didn't get on camera. He could have. He has $1 billion. He's a billionaire. He's a billionaire. No one knows who he is. Who is that? Why did that guy do that? Who does he? Was he one person? Is he a group of people? We don't know.
So you're saying we can all get together and try to do good, decentralize things.
Yes. I'm just saying it's already happening. He's working for the company, man. That guy already did. That guy did.
The company.
Yeah. And the way, and I would guess, I'm not, again, this is all just like guesses. But my guess would be a company like this, it's smart. So it divides up its work into little it
needs a name.
What?
Your company needs a name.
It's not my company. But here's the way it works. I mean, there's actually occult schools where you own the people who are in the school. You only know the person who is your mentor and the person who you're mentoring. That's it. You don't know anyone else in the school. You don't know anyone else. And that's smart, because what that does is it makes it so that if you're running a criminal operation and you break it up into little pieces, if any of the pieces get busted, it doesn't destroy the entire organization. So that's really smart. We have a really intelligent, evolved organization of this nature that was truly revolutionary would compartmentalize itself so that no one really knows exactly how big it is. No one really knows who's running it. Nobody really knows who's in charge. Is anyone in charge? No one really knows. All we know is that we're trying something here, and what are we trying? Well, we're trying to make it so the fucking planet doesn't turn into a goddamn nuclear slush pile. That's one goal, and the other goal is to try to make it so that we're all connected again, and we're all
Is our company in opposition to the government?
What?
Is our company in opposition to the
government? People in the government who work for it. It's everywhere. They're everywhere. They're people,
and they're hiring.
You might already work for them.
Really?
Yeah. I mean,
I feel like I do.
Yeah, I do too. And I think that's kind of how it works. It's you don't realize that you've probably, by the time you're probably hired, it's the only job, and it pays really well too. It pays really well.
Do you think you're chosen, or
what?
Are you chosen?
You choose yourself. You
good.
You hire yourself. It's just an intention. I mean, look up the Bodhisattva vow. That's an example of probably some. That's an example of some early employees of the company. We can end on that, but
I think I work in HR.
No, you work in entertainment, man. Yeah, it goes. Let's see what it goes. So this is one of the. Oh yeah, let's see. Where is it? How does it go? Bodhisattva vow. Just as all the previous Buddhas generated the mind of enlightenment and accomplished all the stages of the Bodhisattva training, so will I too, for the sake of all beings, generate the mind of enlightenment and accomplish all the stages of the Bodhisattva training. So the idea is for the sake of all beings, that's the idea. We're working for every single fucking sentient and non-sentient being in the universe. That's the job. Everything else is just a hobby. And so
To spread good.
Yeah, to get it popping, man. We're trying to get it popping. That's the idea. Get this thing going. Get us off the planet. Get us going into space. Get us colonizing. Get us out there and in here too. It's like that's the idea. We could do it. There's no reason we can't do it.
I should have got high before this.
I'm sorry. I'm talking about fucking aliens and some imaginary fucking hippie company.
I mean, I'm able to follow it still, so that's good. I think it's good for your philosophy.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, listen, it's all based on logic. It's not based on I'm not high right now. It's logic. It's just based on like, oh shit, of course they're there. Of course. You hear it all the time. Flood. Kids are drowning. Somebody appears, pulls the kids out of the water, vanishes.
You know what our enemy... Oh, sorry.
No, please.
Our enemy, though, to the company.
What?
It's capitalism.
Nope. No fucking way. We'll use it all. We'll use capitalism. We'll use communism. We'll use socialism. We'll use Hinduism. We'll use Islam. We'll use it all. We're going to use every single tool at our disposal. You know, I would imagine.
What happens to the person who is like a nuclear scientist and decides to take a job creating bombs?
What do you mean?
You know, I'm saying like it's so seductive to have like goodness, but then to use it, you know, to get money and rationalize why you're taking the money for this, and you know, at least it's for your family.
I don't know, not my department. The thing is,
just saying it's easy to get corrupted.
Well, I mean, yeah, but the idea would be is like, look, man, this is a real thing. I'll tell you this, folks listening, even though it might sound like I'm off my rocker here, you start fantasizing about this, just pretend tomorrow, pretend you work for this company or whatever it is. Just pretend you work for them. You don't even have to know exactly what your job is or what it is. Just know that the main thing is it's a benevolent, super intelligent manifestation of a thing that inevitably happens to a planet at a certain time, and it's maybe it's like it's the way a flower grows or whatever. So just imagine you're part of that, and then see what happens. Just see what happens. Just see what happens for the next couple of days. Who comes up to you? Who says hello? Does anyone say hello? Does someone that you've known for a long time act a little differently around you? Does something change fundamentally in the way that the world seems to be functioning around you? You might be surprised, really. You might be surprised. And if nothing fucking happens, then whatever. You shouldn't listen to me.
Well, next time I talk to you, I think you need to have a name for this, though.
The company? Mm-hmm. It's not my company. I don't know. And it's all theory. I don't know what they'd call themselves. Who knows? It's their job to name the damn thing, whoever they are, if they even exist, which I think they do.
But isn't they us?
What?
They is us.
Well, I think the moment you name a thing, right, then you, like now it's like, unfortunately, kind of like people claim ownership. The moment you're like, we're the workers of the light.
That's pretty good.
Whatever it is, whatever you want to say, then now the workers of the fucking light. Are you a worker of the light? Are you a member of the workers of the light? And then it's just embarrassing. It's better to not name it. Sounds like bird singing or something. That's the name of it. The name of it is bird singing in the morning. Birds in the morning sing the name of the company. That's what it is, you know? And then you call it whatever it is. Just pretend it is. Just give yourself the fantasy for fun instead of it being such a bleak world. Imagine an organized force of really smart people that was completely decentralized and being...
Kingfishers? That's a bird.
Oh, that's a good name for it. The Kingfishers. There you go. You named it. So that's my theory, Natasha. Look, you got a thing. It's 3:30 now, so don't you have a thing to do?
In 10 minutes. I mean, if you want to sum up, why don't you play everyone El Gato Está Muerto?
I'm not playing it. Natasha's been making fun of me for the music that I make. Donde es el gato?
Wait, play it, because it's catchy. Will you play it?
No.
Just play it play it till the beat drops.
I made the treacherous error of playing. I'm learning how to do Ableton and make music. I do not make music. I do not consider myself a musician.
You do make music, though, because you're doing it all the time.
Okay.
And you're posting it.
I I make sound beds for my podcast. Okay, Natasha, I'm not like posting it like on SoundCloud.
Play that one you played me, please.
No, I'm not.
It's funny.
I'm not getting lured in. I'm not getting lured in. No, I'm not going to get lured into this. It's ridiculous. You know what? I'll play it at the very end of this. I'll play it I probably already put it at the end of one of my episodes anyway.
I'd like to know, do you ever get feedback? Or people like, great music, man?
The best feedback, I'll tell you what the best feedback I ever got was. I'll tell you the best feedback I ever got. And I think I was at the stand talking to a friend who makes music. And he was playing music he made. And I'm like, okay, listen to this dumb thing I made. And I always say, this is dumb. I'm just fucking around, man. I don't consider myself a musician, right? And he listened to it and he's like, yeah, it's cool. I'm like, yeah, but it's, whatever. I'm just learning how to use Ableton. Like this amazing software. I don't know how to play piano. But then someone comes by and he's like, what do you listen to? Let me listen to it. Didn't know I made it. Puts that earbuds in. This is a comedian. I can't remember his name. Super funny. It's like, oh, this sucks. And it's like, wow, that is the most.
But you do have musical talent. I know that for a fact.
I don't have music.
Well, maybe lyrical talent, because I remember just from very rudimentary piano playing, you came up with an entire musical.
Well, I think that anyone has talent. I think what's cool about technology right now.
Several musical. You have
Thank
I
you.
remember
It's nice
I looked
of you
at
to say.
it's not nice. I wish I could. I wish I was recording when you came up with everything, because I have books at home of you lyrics that you wrote down for crazy ideas that were still
You know
great
who has
ideas.
musical talent?
Yeah.
Tim Heidecker has music. That guy has musical talent. He does. He makes great songs. He makes these really cool fucking songs. That's talent. What I have is a computer and Ableton.
You have lyrical talent then.
Well, I have the ability to loop things together listen. Okay. Whatever.
Why don't we let them decide and play El Gato de...
What a beautiful trap you're setting again. I thought you'd given up on that. So that I get it. You flatter me to the point where I'm like, maybe I do have talent. And then I just play this undeveloped...
But it's not undeveloped if you've already put it up online.
You know what I will play for you, though?
You got to play that one.
Do you want to hear something? I'm not going to play it on the podcast. I will play you this, though. Me and Emil are making an album for real. I'll play you.
See, you do want to be a musician.
I'll play. No. He's a musical genius.
I know that.
So I'll play you a track from that. Thank you so much. How long does this tour go on for that you guys are doing?
Wait, you're really not going to play El Gato? You have to, Duncan.
I'm going to put it
put it at the very end.
I'm going to put it at the end of this. Guys, I'll play this at the very end of this episode. But don't make fun of me. I'm just learning how to do Ableton.
I know, it's good. I'm telling you, it's actually catchy.
Okay, I'm going to put it.
I'm on tour. We only have 4 cities left, though.
Oh, really? I'll put this up tomorrow.
Oh, great. Well, tomorrow we play the Bell House, but that's sold out. And then it's called the Endless Honeymoon Tour, and it's Moshe, my husband, and I trying to extend our honeymoon. I was hoping for 10 years.
That's awesome.
Well, because I read about this couple in Newport, Rhode Island, because that's where my show takes place, Another Period on Comedy Central. So I do a lot of research, and we were in Newport, and they talked about this rich couple who went on a 10-year honeymoon, and they came back with 4 kids.
That is so cool.
But we can't afford that, so we're kind of doing a working honeymoon.
Yeah, but you're in New York. You're going to all these beautiful places.
So still left, we have Philly and Chicago and Minneapolis.
That's great. So are those all in a row? What?
Yes. Well, you can look at our websites.
Okay, cool. I'll have the links.
NatashaLeggero.com. But it's all in the next week.
Oh, this will go up. Let's see. Tomorrow is, this will go up Thursday. So, yeah, people
can come see us in Chicago.
Yeah.
And Philly.
All right, cool. Well,
and Minneapolis.
Thank you, Natasha.
And now what are you going to play now? What is your album you're doing with Emil?
I can't even talk about it, but I'll play you a track from it.
Okay. And then make sure you stay tuned to listen to El Gato.
Way to end this pod. Guys, I don't think this is a great song. I'm learning. It's like learning how to do Photoshop or learning how to paint for the first time, okay? God. Thank you, Natasha. That was Natasha Leggero, everybody. Go see the honeymoon tour with her and Moshe. And Get yourself some Alpha Brain. Remember, onnit.com/DTFH or go to Casper.com/family hour and use offer code family hour to get $50 off a mattress. Guys, if you don't want all the commercials, try out our Patreon. Patreon.com/DTFH. You'll get commercial free episodes of the DTFH and extra monologues, but you don't have to do any of that stuff. I'm so grateful to you just for listening, and I hope that you have a wonderful week and find yourself being initiated by a secretive group of benevolent beings who want to bring world peace and a transcendent glory to our chaotic little blue ball of luminescent humans here that we call Earth. I'll see you guys next week with Ethan Nickturn. Hare Krishna.